Hi everyone. In this webinar, let's have a look at the timetable module in Fedena. We can find the timetable module under academics. The first thing that we're going to do under the timetable module is manage class timing set. Under the manage class timing set, we are going to create a class timing set that is suitable for your organization. Let's say I'm going to create one, for which I'm going to go for the option new and create a class timing set with the title. Let's say I'm providing a title and I'm going to add class timing inside which. So I've already added a class timing with the title name period 1 and I've given a start time and an end time. Let's say the start time is 9 o'clock. That is nothing but my timetable in my organization begins at 9 o'clock. The period 1 is for 9 o'clock to 10 o'clock and then I'm going to say the period 2 begins at 10 o'clock to 11 o'clock. I'm going to add class timing each time and it looks like the period 1 is from 9 to 10 and period 2 is from 10 to 11. And every time I create, there's an option called is a break. I can enable it in case if this time duration is a break period. I can add class timings by going for, let's say now I'm going to create a break and the break is for around 10 minutes. So I'm going to give start time of 11 till 11:10. So this is a 10 minutes break duration and I'm going to say that this duration is a break. So I'm going to enable is a break and save. Now there's a break that is created. The reason that we're going to give enable break is because to differentiate in the timetable the working hours and the break. This way I can keep creating class timing set under a particular class timing that I've created. I can create 2 or more class timing in case if I have different working hours in the timetable. So once this is created, I can move back to my timetable and I can go for set weekdays and class timing set. Here I can have a particular class. Let's say I'm choosing a particular class. So once I choose a class, let's say grade 12, I'm choosing a batch, and once I've selected the class and the batch, I can select the weekdays. So here I'm going to select which all weekdays that the class is going to work and the respective class timing set, depending on which the timetable would be created. So let's say from Monday to Friday I have a class timing set. I'm going to assign that in the drop down. So as I scroll down, I'm going to assign the one that I've created. So this is the one that I created. So I'm going to assign the one from my drop down, and once I've assigned, these, I can change in case if I want to change on a different timings. So let's say I'm choosing the one, and for Saturdays I'm assigning a different one. On to confirm, I'm going to save this and continue with the timetable creation. So once this is done, I'm going back to my timetable, and the next thing that is there is manage timetable. Under manage timetable, I'm going to create a new timetable by going for manage timetable, and I can go for create timetable, where in this time duration I'm going to mention the start time and end time for my timetable. Let's say I'm giving a start time and an end time, and I'm going to create. And once I've created with a start time and end time, I can select the particular batch for which I'm going to create. So as you can see, the duration is created. You should understand that there is no option to have multiple timetables in one single duration. So when we create a timetable, it's also important to notice that we cannot create more than one timetable. In a case where we want to have different setups of timetables, it's better to create timetable of shorter duration. We can go for timetable allocation. Under timetable allocation, we can select the batch for which we are going to create, let's say grade 12, and I can see there is no allocation that is made yet. I can go for manage allocations, and under manage allocations I can go ahead and make allocation. So here, as you can see, based on the timings that I've given, the Mondays to Fridays has a different duration, and on Saturday it's different. So I can assign by selecting the cell and select an employee and assign. The same way I can assign by selecting a particular cells, select a subject. Based on the subject and the employee being assigned, the subjects gets assigned in the timetable. As you can see here, when you hover your mouse, you can see the subject, you can see the employee, you can see the time duration. The same way you can see for others as well. So this way you can make the timetable allocations. Once these timetable allocations are completed, you can take and share it across with your students and your employees, for which you can go back to view timetable, and under view timetable you need to choose the timetable, you need to choose the batch that you're looking for. This is how the timetable would look like. This is just an example about how to share this with a student. And when it comes to teacher's timetable, we have a separate option called teacher's timetable, and under teacher's timetable we can view the teacher's timetable. So I can choose which timetable I want to view. I can choose which employee I'm looking for. Let's say this is the employee's name, and I can see the timetable for the employee. I can see the class, I can see the subject in which the employee is being assigned, and the time duration. The next thing that we have is work allotment. Under work allotment, let's see how the employee subject association happens. It's something similar to the HR module, where we can make an employee subject association for the batches separately. So as you can see here, there are all the classes and batches available here, and then we can choose the particular class that we're looking for. Let's say I'm going for the class 12. I'm going to go for the partially associated one. The reason that it's mentioned partially associated is because the association has happened for few classes and for few it does not happen, and there are other status that means completely associated. That means the association is completed, all the subjects have been assigned for the timetable. And the other status reports say no association, that no association represents that there is no subject yet assigned to the timetable. So the timetable is available, just that we need to allocate subjects. Then other status that we have is no subjects present. So in that case, we'll have to create the subjects for the classes and batches, and we'll have to create a timetable accordingly. So these are the different status report that represents the subject employee allocation status. So as of now, we can go to the class that we're looking for, go for employee subject association, and make the particular allocation accordingly. So as you can see here, directly from here you can go for assigning an employee for each subject. Rather, when we are missing this assigning option, we can make assignment from here directly. So this is how the work allotment works. The next thing that we have is institutional timetable. Under institutional timetable, the institutional timetable provides us an overall view of the timetable for a particular date. Let's say the current date is 12, and on the 12th of June, what is the allocation that is required will be displayed here. And for all the batches, the timetable that has been already assigned will be shown. So this is an overview for the employees or the admin or the principal. So this is where the person can view the assigned timetables for each of the days. So this is a place that can be utilized. Rather now I don't have an exact timetable to show an example. The next thing that we have is a timetable tracker. The next option that we have is the timetable tracker. Under timetable tracker, we have the swap timetable report. Under swap timetable report, we can choose a particular batch, let's say grade 12, and we need to choose a particular time. I'm choosing a particular date, and on that date it shows the timetable allocations for that class. And as you can see here, you can see the class timings, you can see the subject, you can see the employee being assigned, and there is already a swapping report that is getting displayed here. So this is the employee who's been assigned, and this is the employee who it is being changed to. So you can see the employee name, you can see the subject that is being changed for. So in case if I'm choosing a different date, let's say I'm choosing a different date, and on choosing a different date, let's say here you have the class timings, you have the subject, you have the employee, and now as you can look and you can make changes from here. Either you can select the same department, let's say science department, and once it gets loaded, you can select the employees who belong to the department. So these are the different employees who belong to the department. You're going to select a department, employee, and you can either go for the same subject or you can opt to choose a different subject. So that option is also available for the admin to perform, whereas we're choosing a same subject and we can go for the OK option. Now this is how swapping can happen. The swapping has a report that gets generated simultaneously, where we have a look at it by going for swap timetable report. By going for swap timetable report, I can have a look at the swapping that has happened for a time duration. I can choose a start time and end time, and it will display the list of swapping that has happened in a time duration. So this is how the swapping would look like. And as you can see, there is the employees and there are department and the replacement status. So each employee and their respective department will display a clear swapping report for the employees, where you can take a CSV report and create a separated report in case if the department specific report needs to be generated. And for each of these employees, the replacement status is very visible here, where you can go for view detail, and the replacement status shows that this employee has been replaced by another employee, and the time periods where the employee is being replaced is also displayed here, where the employee and the subject which is being assigned is also visible here. And you can also see there are various other reports where, let's say, -1, 2 minus, 1 minus, 1 plus, all these are displayed here. Each of these report can provide you a detailed insight about the swapping that has happened in a previous time duration. So as you can see here, this employee was replaced twice by another employee, and that report is being shown here. Both the employees have been replaced by another employee, and this report is displayed here. And as you can scroll down, the same kind of report is shown for each employee, and you can take a CSV report of this, and using the CSV report you can share it across with various other users. Now the swapping is completed. The next thing that we have is classroom allocation. Under classroom allocation, we can make classroom allocations by building rooms, and we need to construct the rooms and buildings that is there. So we can go for manage buildings, and manage buildings we can go for add buildings and add the buildings that is there in the institution. Let's say there is a building, you need to enter the name of the building, and once you've entered the name of the building, you're going to enter the name of or the room numbers. So you can add how much ever rooms are there and their capacity. Once you have added these, you can make allocation for the students. So moving back to classroom allocation, you have an allocate option. Under allocate, you can go for weekly or a date specific. Weekly specific allocations allow you to choose the timetable duration. That means beginning from the date of the timetable and end of the timetable, all week this is the allocation that would be followed. So let's say we're going to go for view from Monday to Friday, or say Saturday to Sunday, whatever allocations has to be done will be followed throughout the timetable. In case if you're going for date specific, we can choose a particular date, let's say June, and you can be more specific which date you're looking for. Let's say 1st of June. So on 1st of June, whichever subjects is there, you can drag and drop the classrooms. So the block is something that you're going to select from the drop down, and the number of classes that is available will be displayed one after the other, where you can drag and drop it and confirm it. This is just a confirmation about the classroom allocation. And once this is done, you can go back to the timetable module. The last option that we have under timetable is manage subjects. So under manage subjects, it's something similar to the option that we find in the settings. In the settings, we have the manage subjects option where we create subjects for each of the classes. So this is a place where we manage the subjects by editing the details about each of the subjects or the number of subject limits that we give for the timetable. So these are some details that we perform in these settings. To go directly from here, the settings would be a time consuming job, so we have a shortcut of managing your subjects inside your timetable module itself. So you can directly handle these details from here, where you can select the class, you can see the subjects that you have created for a particular batch and add subjects or any elective subjects, assign students, delete or edit the subjects, or any details about the subjects. So this is all about managed subjects, and that's all about the timetable module. Thanks for listening.